Hey everyone, welcome back to the Thoughtful Advocate podcast. I'm so glad you're here today because I want to talk about something that completely changed my perspective on parenting, and that is the importance of bringing your children outside to fight against the strong resistance against going outside in the cold weather in Canada. It's difficult. When it hits like even 15 degrees Celsius here or lower, especially, you don't see anyone in the streets anymore. And now that it's a lot darker too, it's just like no one's out. This is a great reminder to encourage us to just go outside. I know it's hard and dark and cold, but if we just wear more layers, we can do it. Break it down and start with the science of outdoor time for development. So the American Academy of Pediatrics actually recommends children to go out daily because it's shown that they are physically more healthy, lower rates of obesity, improved motor coordination, and increased outdoor time also reduces the risk of myopia, which is nearsightedness. I definitely spend a lot of time indoors. I might have spent more time outdoors than the average person, but I think I could have done better, especially as an adult. It's common knowledge that when babies are outside, they're more motivated to move and explore. There's more open space for them to explore, which is so important for children because that's how they learn, by being curious, exploring, and really doing things. There's also evidence of stronger mental health, reduced anxiety and depression, better focus and attention spans, and improved emotional regulation. And if you ever go outside in the forest, you just feel this serenity. Like it really calms you naturally. Having those green spaces is just so important. Research from the University of Illinois shows that even just 20 minutes of outdoor time a day can significantly reduce cortisol levels in children. And that's the stress hormone. It also enhances creativity and problem solving. Unstructured outdoor time allows children to imagine a world of possibilities, create new games, and navigate challenges. Exposure to a natural sunlight actually helps regulate your circadian rhythm. Therefore, you sleep a lot better. Honestly, I always feel better after a walk. And my son really enjoys going outside and just looking at everything. I think it just brings this sense of wonder, the spark in his eyes when he goes outside and sees the world for the first time. Renews my sense of hope. I always feel better after a walk. I go out with John and Ace and we just look around the neighborhood and there's Halloween decorations and you see the fall colors and it just means you feel renewed after. There's this whole philosophy called free, loose, live. And I might have butchered that, but I'll put the word up here, Scandinavian word, specifically Norwegian origin. Apparently the direct translation is open air living. And this is the deep Scandinavian belief that the outdoors is not just nice to have. It's essential for life. And that right there is a philosophy we all need to adopt. There's a Scandinavian saying, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad clothing. This means that children go outside every day, regardless of the weather conditions. Swedish preschools actually have their children spend several hours outdoor, especially with children nowadays. Everyone is very aware of climate change and what it is. When you talk to adults or about older, like grandparents, they weren't really educated that much about climate change and what was happening and the effects of the things that they were doing. But it doesn't mean that they weren't environmentally conscious. A lot of them did save resources like reusable plastic bags and meal containers, mostly due to scarcity, but it does make them environmentally conscious. Nowadays, people are very well versed in what is happening to our planet and the warming, developing ice caps. I see a lot more youth involved in climate protests. In fact, I see them as the forefront because a lot of them are very outspoken and knowledgeable, and it's just inspiring to see that. I have no doubt that the future children's children will carry on that like legacy and be even more empowered. Okay, so here's something that blew my mind. I was reading this book when I was pregnant with Ace. I borrowed this from the library. It's called There's No Such Thing as Bad Weather, Scandinavian Mom's Secret for Raising Healthy, Resilient, and Confident Kids by Linda Atkinson-McCurk. I checked this out from the library on my phone. They have ebooks for free on your phone that you can check out from the library, which is great because it means you don't have to go there if you don't live close to one. So yeah, anyways, this is something that blew my mind. So in northern countries, it's very common for babies to be put outside in like the freezing cold. So like in winter, if you just look this up, you'll see videos of strollers outside with the baby sleeping inside with the bunting and all the extra layers and protection for warmth. But yeah, they're just left outside for them to sleep in the cold. Apparently, it's good for their bodies. And of course, breathing fresh air is great for their health. But I think that's something that really shocked me because, like in North America, that's unheard of. Like when it's cold, when it hits 15 degrees or 10 degrees less Celsius, no one goes outside. It's just wild to me that we think that way, where other cultures are embracing the cold. Being in Canada, I really want to learn how to brace cold because it's difficult. A lot of people get the winter blues, like seasonal depression from winter. Basically, the book, There's No Such Thing as Bad Weather by Linda Brooke. So she's a Swedish mom living in the US, and she wrote this book because of the huge culture shock of how outdoor time is spent, or maybe the lack thereof in the US versus in Sweden, where she's from. And Scandinavian parents specifically, that outdoor naps are longer, better, and deeper. It really does have to do with layering and gear. We'll notice this, especially if you go camping, you need the right gear for the right temperatures. If you prepare ahead of time, you will be more prepared for cold. I think the only time you shouldn't be going is extreme weather, thunderstorms or blizzards, anything that could really harm to anyone. So it's just common sense. But as you get older, it's like an hour sometimes outdoors. If it's raining, they have indoor recess, which I get it, but it takes away from the fresh air that is just so much more beneficial. And if you live in rainy areas like Seattle or Vancouver, you just need a rain jacket and you're going to be fine. So I don't think the rain should be an excuse to not go outside. But children definitely need the right rain gear, raincoats, rain jackets, and hopefully schools have extras. Children don't have them, but yeah, they need to be prepared for the outdoors because they should go outside, especially at that age. They need time to run around and use their energy and explore. Parents in Sweden and a lot of Nordic countries have their babies sleep outside. Even when it's snowy, they have extra layers, protection, and monitors. The University of Oulu in Finland found that sleeping outdoors increases how much longer they sleep and shows fewer respiratory infections. So for children, babies specifically 0 to 12 months, think of outdoor time as more of a sensory play. Now breathing in fresh air. I remember when my son was really small, I would take him to the backyard or something. And when the wind would come in, he would open his mouth to almost taste the air. I always thought that was so interesting because as adults, we don't do that. But they can feel different textures like grass, touching leaves, sand, water, hearing the birds, and just like different critters, seeing them, seeing colors, the leaves. Some lives looking up and seeing all the beautiful yellow golden leaves from the fall vibes, seeing clouds move, trees sway like flowers. Even other people, it's just, yeah, it piques their sense of curiosity and it's just natural. Seeing natural light change is also really important because it helps your circadian rhythm, so you know what time of day it is, and it's just better than artificial light, of course. And of course, increasing like vitamin D levels, which are so important for babies because they need it, and we do too. I remember when I was really depressed and not going outside, my vitamin D levels were horrid. I had to take multivitamins, but I shouldn't just look outside more. Of course, if you live in if you live in areas or countries with real winters, you still need to take multivitamins. It's good to try to incorporate some way of bringing your children outdoors. This can be a breakfast thing. Maybe in the morning you go outside, have breakfast with your kids, or for work, you go for a quick walk. I usually feed them just bottle outside, and it's just nice to see other people outside and breathe in the fresh air. It's just so nice. And yeah, I think I would like to bring him out more to the porch, especially because usually I carry him and then I sit on the bed. We have blankets and more covers, so yeah, I can just lay on there and he can now crawl and we'll walk because he's practicing. So yeah, just let him explore a bit. Yeah. And for toddlers and young children, the book also recommends just making outdoor time non-negotiable. It's like part of their routine. Let them get wet. It comes off eventually. And provide these parts to play with. And this doesn't have to be anything expensive. It can literally be sticks, rocks, pine cones, water. If you ever see those videos of the mud kitchens, like children making mud cakes, I think that's really cute. I am growing up in a household that's literally had people with OCD. It does make you a little wary of mud because we're never allowed to be dirty, go outside and play in mud. But thinking as long as he has like prep gear, like rain jacket and or covers, like at least those will come off, and rain boots. And yeah, whenever we're allowed to splash in puddles. So it's not mud, at least splashing in puddles. At this age, you can just follow their lead. They don't really need much structure yet. They're just out there to explore. It's not anything extra that you really need to do. Overcoming common barriers. So, of course, anyone who doesn't want to go outside will say it's too hot, too cold, too wet. And this is where fully matters. Get layers, get a rain jacket, wear your winter jacket, and the weather will basically be less overridden. For some colder climates, like in Canada, when I first came here, my face was frozen and it hurt. The first time I got off the plane, that was a deterrent from going outside, but eventually I got used to it. And you can also wear scarves around your face, and they also have ski masks, but that's a bit extreme for me. So scarves, mittens, hats, or a lot of people don't have yards, which also was a deterrent for me because I was living in a condo for the first time, and we didn't have a balcony either, and there was no parks. So they recently made a park, of course, when I left. But even just going outside for a bit, walking around is helpful. And I did that pop with my brother when we were not mentally so well, and it really helped. It was fun to explore the area and see what's there. That was our first time living in a non-suburb area, basically downtown. So it was nice. In the book, it talks about how families living in apartments still go to parks and make time to get out there. There's no excuse. It's not safe. It's a big concern for not going outside. Of course, if you're watching news constantly, you don't whatever go out or anywhere. That find the studies, the risks, the benefits of outdoor time is it outweighs the risks. Another barrier or mindset is I don't have time, and that is valid. And if you can do it after work, I think that will bring a lot of joy for you and your children, and also give you some ease during bedtime because they're tired out. So I think that's why so many parents bring their children to parks, because it really does help. And going outdoors can replace screen time, indoor play, or even mealtime. It's just changing your mindset and your way of thinking a bit to get used to it. It's part of your routine. Building environmental stewardship, especially in the early area of your child's life. There are some studies out there saying that children who spend more time outdoors are more environmentally conscious as adults. And I can definitely attest to that. My grandma would take us on a lot of walks outside. We ride our bikes and scooters and go to the playground. We lived near a beach, and there was a nice park there. And even going to the environmentally conscious school where we would hike all the time, that was literally our physical education. I think it definitely made me more environmentally conscious and made me feel more protective of my natural surroundings because I use them. I see them and I feel them. I see how beautiful they are. Growing with them, I can't imagine a world without the natural beauty around us. When we're taking our children outdoors, we're not just supporting their health, but also rooting the next generation of environmental advocates. They can't love and protect what they don't know. People are fearful of the unknown. So make it known to them that nature is something well worth to be protected. So here are the key takeaways. Why the outdoor trend is not optional. It's optimal for children's development. It's just as important as sleep and nutrition. And we need to start prioritizing it here in North America because it's just important. There's no bad weather. The proper clothing, kids can basically go outside anytime. You'll see kids in the winter here go tobogganing with their parents, and it's -10. So there's no excuse. Even just 20 to 30 minutes a day, however much time you have, just get out there. It really does count. Let go of those Pinterest activities. You don't need to do those if you're going to be overwhelmed by them. Just let the kids explore, and they'll find their own games out there to play. They play hopscotch, lipsticks, Mr. Fox, what time is it? Just so many games out there that they can come up with. You'll be surprised by what kind of games they play. And if you want to know more, you should read There's No Such Bad Weather by Linda Maker. It was really an eye-opening book and very interesting. It explores how she has two children. The first one was raised in the US, and then she has two kids. They're pretty close in age, I think 2 years apart or something. And basically her time in the US opened her eyes to how little people spend time outdoors in the US. And when she went back to Sweden, she just saw how much outdoor time was integrated into everyday lives, especially in schools. The way she tells her stories, personal stories, and research it was just a really easy read and very interesting too. So if you found this helpful, subscribe to the Thoughtful Advocate YouTube channel, my podcast, and give this a thumbs up for more videos like this. Of course, drop a comment below and follow me on Instagram at Thoughtful Advocate. Thanks for listening and watching. Okay, so today's sponsor is Kind Laundry. Just kidding, they're not really a sponsor, but I do have an affiliate code. Kind Laundry, use natural ingredients, and it actually comes in these sheets. So much more useful than liquid laundry detergent because that stuff gets messy. With Kind Laundry, you can bring this anywhere. It's literally in a box, pack in your suitcase, and it's that easy. You can get 10% off by using code ZeroWasteCute.